Hey everybody, get to take that off. Wearing these all day sometimes can be a bit much, I gotta admit. Glenn Lamont here from Wallace Hartley Presents. Just wanted to check in, and in particular, I know I talk a lot about COVID and being a frontline worker and stuff, and with that comes certain responsibilities, but also we forget how to take care of ourselves, and I know I'm certainly guilty of it. I really don't I don't practice what I preach, so do as I say, not as I do. And so what happened, one of the things that you'll find is a lot of people who do the kind of work that we do have suffered trauma themselves. And because of that, it makes us pretty great at what we do. And what I mean by that is, with trauma, we all possess, that fight or flight thing, and you either freeze up, or if you experience trauma on a regular basis, especially growing up as a child, and you're in those kind of environments where it becomes somewhat normalized, you learn to deal. You learn to compartmentalize, and you learn to shut down. And consequently, when you find yourself in a situation where things are just absolutely insane all around you, even as a child, you learn how to still function, because you don't have a choice. Your life depends on it. If you want to continue to live any kind of a, I'm not going to say normal existence, but if you want to still function, right? And that's what makes a lot of us good at their job, and that applies to myself. So, I know many people say, I'm your go-to guy. If the shit hits the fan, I don't lose it. I do my job, and I got my coworkers back, and we get the job done. But unfortunately, all that stuff has to go somewhere, and not taking care of yourself. It's been over a year now that we've been in lockdown. It's been over a year now that we have been without physical contact. And yes, I thank God I have my family, and I have my kids, and I don't know what I would do without them. But sometimes you see people, and you're so happy to see them, you just want to hug them. You want there to be some physical contact. And it's been tough. And I forget, as I'm sure many of you do, to do the things that we need to do for our psychological, our physical, our family, and our spiritual health. And why I bring this up this week is because a part of the job is also losing people. And for the most part, I'm not going to say it doesn't affect me. It always affects me, because every single kid that I have as a client, I don't even like that word, but every kid I work with, you do get closer to some than others. And when you get that email or that call, because we are in the middle of an opioid crisis, and people forget that with all this COVID stuff going on, but that hasn't changed, and it certainly hasn't gotten better. And so I got that call yesterday, and normally it doesn't hit me as hard as that did, and maybe it was one of those days. Maybe I'm tired, maybe I work a little too much. Anybody who knows me will tell you that's true. But either way, it hit me hard. And it made me stop and pause. And it made me realize that if I want to be really good at my job, and if I want to be able to help people to the best of my ability, I need to take better care of myself. And when I say better care, I need to take better care of my mental health, my emotional health. And that means, reaching out. Because also part of that trauma response that we all have is, I can do it. I can do it all by myself. Thanks. I'm good. I don't need your help, because I've been through this before. And we do that many, many times because we've been let down. And if a child, as a child, if you learn that nobody's going to be there when you really need them, then that's just your go-to through life. So you don't get close to people because you don't want to get let down. You don't rely on people because, hey, when you really need them, when it really counts, they're probably, not going to be there. So you learn that, and that's not good either. So I just want to say this to everyone out there that does this kind of work, and anybody for that matter, especially if you are, have been affected by trauma, have experienced trauma in your life in any way, shape, or form that also informs your day-to-day life and how you function as a human being. Reach out and take the time to tell somebody how you're feeling. Just for your own sake, for your own headspace. You need to let it go. You need to let it out. And because what's going to happen if you don't, one day you're just going to hit the wall. And I'd also like to say, I'm not going to mention the name of the youth that we lost, because that is kind of up to the family to do, not to me. But I'm going to say, when you read, this is to the general public. I just want to say that when you read anything in the paper or see something on the news about, people in homeless camps and the drug problem and all the sensational footage they'll show you of places like the downtown east side here in Vancouver, these are all real people. And that kid that I'm talking about was one of them, who had done an absolutely an astounding job. Very resilient guy, all odds against him, and was just constantly in that struggle, that day-to-day battle to stay clean and to get his life back on track. And he was a human being who touched many lives, and many people cared for that person deeply. And I got to know this person. I'm honored to know that person and to have worked with him. My heart goes out to his family, his friends, and his loved ones. And remember that every single person out there that you see and that you might, look down on because they're an addict, because they're homeless, because they're mental health, whatever. These are all people with stories, with their own stories. They are all sons and daughters, husbands and wives, aunts and uncles, human beings. So keep that in mind the next time you see some of this sensationalist bullshit on TV. And I guess at the end of the day, I just want to say, let's try and take better care of ourselves, especially those of us who work on the front line, better care of one another. And I guess to a certain degree, I hate to use this phrase, but we are all in this together, maybe in different ways and different different boats and all that. Also, get vaccinated, folks. If you are eligible, book an appointment, get out there, have it done. It's no big deal. I'm a big softy, and if I can weather that, for a day, for an afternoon, any of you guys can. So be good to each other, be good to yourselves. Glenn Lamont, Wallace Hartley Presents, the podcast, up and running anytime soon, but you can check out any of our old episodes on Spotify, on Podbean, and of course on our YouTube channel, Wallace Hartley Presents. Thanks for listening, folks. Have yourselves a good week.